All right, this is going to be part 2 of painting this crazy storm, this tornado. And I have a smaller reference picture now to help you guys at least see a little bit of where I'm going. All right, so I do have the bigger picture here. Dan, how are you? Welcome on board. I'm just, hello there. How are you, Brian? Ah, all right. So let me just, okay. I'm okay, doing good. How's your brother and everybody? Thank you. Thank you. This is what I'm working from. Here's the big one. Okay, so that's my goal in the end, is to have my tornado and the foreground all look like that. All right, so there's where we're at. And like I said, I have the smaller reference picture. It is a little different color-wise, but at least it shows you where I might be working. I can bring it up. It's definitely got a little bit more saturation, and it's left out some of the stormy green colors, you know. But at least I have something small that I can either put up here or put down there. It depends on where I'm working. So right now, I'm going to, as soon as I have a few more people come on, because I have a little thing I'm going to be doing from Timothy John Luke Smith, works with India Inks, and he works with different techniques, and you got to kind of dance around the blue shift, the famous blue shift. So what he uses is a pastel, the white pastel, for fine little tiny details that this will not shift to the blue. Okay. Okay. Jello's tired. Okay, so for anybody that's just coming on new, if you are brand new, share it to your page in case you don't want to watch the whole thing live, or subscribe to the channel if you're interested. And also, if somebody wants to share it to like a WADA, the Airbrush group, or one of those Airbrush groups out there. There's so many. Anyway, so I'm going to be using the Awada. This is the old, I got this back in the 90s, CM SB model. A little beat up on the head assembly because I put this in a photograph, like a super close up, and it was for, and probably my story or something. And a lot of people were, some people were saying, boy, that's old. Boy, that's really been through the mill. The head assembly has, and that's my fault. And that's because when I first was learning, I didn't know how to care for the airbrush. I'm talking about 1995, 96, probably 96 is when I got it. And after being in a seminar, I'm not going to talk about this real long. I just want to let you know, there's tools that you can buy. And I didn't even know the illustration guns were available or existed. I just found out when I went to school and joined into a lot of seminars that day down in Atlanta, Georgia, Airstorm 94. And then I found out and purchased it. But I really didn't know how to care for it. So it's kind of ironic, but you learn as you go, And when I started really studying deeper into probably 2010 and before that, I started learning much more about this particular gun. I had a school, and we were using all kinds of airbrushes. You can beat these up. The Eclipse, I use this for mixing. And they have the bottle feed one, of course. Wada, they are just more durable. The The Micron needs a lot of attention. One thing you don't want to use is pliers on it, and that's why you see those marks and everything. But the gun has got new nozzle, it's been refurbished, and meaning cleaned really well, and it also professionally, and it also has uh, yeah, the needle, the low rider trigger, and the spring that Drew Blair sells. Uh, I I would recommend that spring to anybody. It's inside here. It's a soft spring, and it makes this just so much more reactive to your finger, and it's tension on your finger, your tendons, your thing. Okay, um, so let's get busy. Anyway, that's my story from going from a Pache airbrush to you know learning about Awada and all that back in the 90s. But then you don't necessarily know how to take care of it, how to use it, and you just learn more and more as you go. And now I know how to take care of it. But anyway, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay in a little bit of the ground down below first. Okay, so this is a cutout from a photograph. And you can see by taking away the white, even if you were to just tint this a little bit, take away the white of the board or paper, whatever you're working on. This happens to be the old um, CS10 board, whoops, from, there it is, Frisk, which is no longer in existence over there in England. Whatever, their place burned down or something, and this is what we all used, but they never reopened. And then we all started having trouble getting an illustration board. Now we have clayboard, we have Drew Blair's synthetic paper, there's Yupo paper, etc., and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start laying in the light colors. So there's a lot of little, it's smooth, but yet it's got texture. It's smooth in some areas, like here. So I'm going to go after light to dark. So I mixed up two greens, and just by covering the white of the board, you start to see everything a little bit better. Let me just go, let's do that, a little distant shot there. Okay. Hey, Stuart, how are you? Great. Stuart is over in Australia, and it's in the morning time over there. So here I am painting a tornado, not even realizing, how violent that storm is down in Jamaica. I'm praying for all those people with the devastating, what is it, a Category 5, a high Category 5. Now it's down to a 4, but crossing over Jamaica, been praying for them, to have them on my mind. And then I'm thinking about, man, what a time to be painting a storm, but that's the way it went. I picked this picture. I've been wanting to paint something like this for a while. But before we get going with any paint, I want to go back to the Timothy John Luke Smith thing. Okay, so you have pastel. If I spray white on here to get a lighter cloud, let's use the big picture here. It's got a lot of neat looking thunderhead clouds, whatever you call them. And if you use this, even at least to mark things out, like I'll show you how I could find a place to show me to get rid of the lead. Let's see, we got a little bit of lead in there, so let's get graphite, I should say, a little guideline to find the top of the clouds on top of the paint. Okay, so I'm going to just knock that back. I'm also finding when I erased, I started to find the original green that I lost by overspraying it with, I think, the correction color. And just by erasing it, I found my green again. So that was pretty cool. Let's see what I could find here by erasing here a little. Yeah, there's some of that green again. So I'm just going to erase that out. And I can still see the lines right there. And I'll erase out that a little. There's some more of that green. So the overspray from last week took away some of the paint that was correct. And if I push this like this, a nice flat, soft eraser, it's not doing anything to my surface at all. And if it does, it's going to have more spraying on top of it. You can also take your hand and go like that, and it's like sanding it if it's getting too thick or some kind of texture from heavy spraying. But anyway, by using we'll go in a little closer. Okay, we're going to go in here. Let's just say, can't really see too well in that picture, but these clouds are lighter. So I'm going to just kind of draw them in with the pastel stick. They will not shift to blue. White turns to blue when you spray it on a darker color. That's just the nature of the beast of this scene. Okay, so I got that. And if I put it like a little bit more in there, just kind of under that line, and now my graphite line is gone, and I can actually leave this in the painting if I want, or I can spray my colors on top of it. I'm just trying to find the top of the shapes of those clouds that kind of get lost in the sauce. It's kind of like right there. But then you could do something really nice with a blending stump, or even my finger. I could just kind of knock that back down a little bit. And I've got a guide that's actually kind of in the photo, if you look, at least to where to place it, you know, a little bit more. You could take a blending stump, and I could leave that in the real picture if I want. If I'm lost and I want to start to find shapes, like here, I've got a little out of focus there. Little interesting shapes there. Could take that and do a little drawing like right in here, knowing it's going to get pretty light in here, and do little circular shapes, just a little bit. You know, there's a nice little shape there. When they come back down with the dark, I can have that as a guide, because you're trying to get all the intricacies. You're trying to get the details in. Okay, I need my blending stump, tortillon. Tortillons come in a package like that. Blending stumps are, they are like this, but this tortillon is wrapped, so you have a ridge. You have a ridge right there. It's like wrapped paper, but it's got a nice point, and it's very strong. And you could go in there just with the point, and you can kind of soften that out a little bit and just kind of take away the line work. It's just a blurry kind of guide that will not shift on me, you know. And then a blending stump is this. It's basically, oh, that's a tortillon too. Let me get a blending stump. I know I have them. This is a blending stump. They're crushed paper. Basically, it's just all wrapped. It's not a ridge there. These have ridges on them. So anyway, they're really nice to work with graphite and pencil work and what have you. But so it's just helping me find things again. And like I said, the tiniest little highlight. Let's just pick one spot right here. Dude, this guy's going to hang. There's a real nice bright spot right there that I can just leave that dot there, and I can go in there and kind of enhance it with a correction color, which helps you offset the, you know, the blue shift by having a little orange. Just know your color theory. Here we go. We're going to take the green. So I've got the lighter green. I know it doesn't look very light, but I've been mixing before the thing, and it's the lightest of the two in general. Okay, so the darker green would go over it, and that's this one. So it's pre-mixed. I did it before. I put it in the gun. I've got 40-21 reducer in there. Okay, so let me just get I'll put a little bit of water in the airbrush. All right. By painting the actual green in here, we're going to have a really nice, the board's whiteness is gone, and you're going to see color for what it is much better. Okay, so that just means the white of the board will fake you out. Plus, it just like when I slid this over, it sure helps you if you squint your eye. I know there's thick paper, so photograph. So if you squint your eyes, you could see if you're going in the right direction. The mood, are you able to capture the whole picture kind of in a mood? Okay, I need my masking tape. I guess I could use masking tape. I'm just going to lift the picture up a little bit. I don't have a metal background, so let's see. We have this picture on the back. Let me just kind of, I'll back out for 1 minute. You can see that flipping. I'm going to back out a little bit more. It's going to reflect a little. Okay, so that picture's waiting. So like when you get your light greens in and you lose all these lines, you can draw on top of the image and place things back. Now, if you lose the tornado, you can put that perspective in of these. This is just the kind of perspective where it's not like really a road going off in the distance, creating, the letter A or whatever. But because these buildings are so far away, it's just distance and perspective of things being further away. That's buildings back there. So technically, they're tiny from where we're standing over here, right? And that's just something you know from drawing, and it just having this attached and waiting, and it's registered to, it's going to fall probably. It's in a registration where, let me just get some, how can I do this? Let's see, put that back on there. And I guess I'll put blue tape on the back. I just lifting the picture up a little bit. And I worked the other day. I don't get to work that much on my projects. I do the live feed. I'm getting a little bit more into the art studio here and do things. So I'm going to do a little show and tell because I'm very happy. I made a painting of a rose on a live stream, and it's got tweaking to do. Okay, so that means when I was painting it live, I still had to clean it up. So this is my paint. This is clay board. It's 3/16 thick, and that's the photo. Get rid of that little blue tape on the back of the photo. Okay, so there's that. And the only thing I still have to do to this, like before when I had a lot of ugly, like you had to almost sand it with your hand. I had to paint the green back in, get rid of flaws. This will get sprayed with a Krylon satin finish, or I have the Createx. I see a little finger mark there because there's no clear on it yet. So this painting is for my wife. The only thing I still have to do, because it's airbrush, I have to tweak the individual little guys, get them to be a little bit more fiery in color. And I just kind of messed up in here a little bit by my thumb. I want to work this area just a tiny bit and just study it a little more. I took out all the strong highlights that looked ugly, and I matched it to the photo more. And so I'm happy with it. I just have to tweak it. But that's you can consider it finished looking at it. I just got to tweak little things. So that's a gift from my wife that I painted. And I'll be posting that, on my Facebook page and in the community section. I keep forgetting to do that. Let's go in a little bit more right there. That's good. Okay. Michael, how you doing? All right. And anyone else that's here, hey, how are you? Because not everyone, comments. That's okay. Just watch it and enjoy it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. So it's got the green, the micron going. I got the green going. I'm putting it into the airbrush right now from a solo cup. Just a way I like to paint. And there are many ways: transparency, mixing things while you go, like, fast and furiously, and that kind of stuff. But all right, so the greenery in here is basically like, let's see, this, I gotta just kind of find out where. Well, it doesn't matter so much, because if I pick a wrong area, it's light to dark, dark to light, the drawing can come back down on this color. So I'm just looking at this and I see the lighter color right where the shadows of whatever that is, probably poles or something that are not in the picture, shadows. So I know that's the lighter green there. So I'm just going to move that off to the side, and I'm going to just spray. I don't really have to worry about erasing them, but if you wanted to, I would use the kneaded eraser. You can knock, whoops, okay, that was just my water, no big deal. At least it wasn't paint, right? So you just take your kneaded eraser, flatten it out, and knock that back by just sweeping over it. It's a self-cleaning eraser, so it will pick up. You can really erase hard and get a lot of it to go away. But because I'm using the opaque paint, and I might still want to see a little bit, I can, take out what I need when I get near the area. So that's pretty good, because the opaque paint will cover the lines. So kneaded eraser, I think I'm using a General. I think that's the brand. Might be Prismacolor. One of them is what's the word for it? Oh, these are both good. Okay, so I wrote down, I think it's General. They're good. The Prismacolor, they get a little bit like clay and just stretchy, and they don't have the strength. All right, I use the trace down paper, so when you flip the picture over and you start drawing, it leaves that image there. Okay, so I'm going to lay in some green. I'm going to just look at this area and put my lighter green in right here. And this green is, when I first sprayed, it's not going to be that light, bright green. Let's just do a small area. See, that area is not the true color. Opaque paint has a point where it won't get any more, it won't change in its value, because you mixed it and you have the white in it. So that's probably almost 100%. That's the color that I found on this photograph. Okay. Now, there's a lot of texture in there. There's a lot of things that I haven't even begun to think how I'm going to treat that, because if I spray it lighter, whoops, sorry guys. If I spray it lighter like this, I can create texture, not in that as much, because that's more 100%ed, So let's just put some color across here. Remember, the lighter color is going to be, it still looks dark, but the next color is very dark, and that will make that look lighter. Okay, and if there's problems and stuff, and if you don't mix it right, then you have to just find a way to, what is going on in here? Let me just make sure. Oh gosh, I would almost want to look at that under magnification. But for now, because texture can be painted on top too. To start doing this kind of stuff, that's too big anyway. Creating some grass blowing in the distance, just overlap it. But see, if this was transparent, this hard work you're putting in to get some of that texture would just keep staying there, but getting darker because it's see-through paint. The opaque paint, if I spray it light like this, you'll see it. But if I want to bring it to its true value, then I gotta rethink it. So I'm gonna paint. Basically, I have enough paint here. I'm just gonna lay in the lighter green, kind of leaving some pencil lines. Okay, so what do we have here? Uh, I need this. Okay, so I am going to be painting on top of, I want to leave a little bit of the sky. I got to get that lined up right. It's just for a shield. I don't really want to paint on the photograph, but I'm going to use it because it's cut out. I have paper cutouts too, but this is what I'm going to just bounce it off. It's just the dark areas. Just get the edge here first. That way we have something going on. Okay, so I ran out of paint. Let me get this going here. So this is just to help me get some, just more aim down like that. And let's see. You know, what am I doing here? I'm going to put a little, I'm going to paint this darker with the lighter color. I'm going to paint the other dark right over it. Just need a little mark that wasn't drawn in there. Okay, so just coat it out, get rid of all the white. Obviously, it looks like a yellow-green right now, but I'll probably bring it to about there because I could start to show these shadows. This is the wrong color, right? But the darker color, sorry. I'll try to work from this side out. Where's that other guy? Oh, it comes over here. Just rough it in. Okay. So already you could see if you're just painting and not so concerned about the photograph, then you could turn around and go and do your own thing. You know, just do your own little version and color that you want it to be without getting into the total accurate mixtures kind of thing. Okay, so even that's showing a different mood, right? Of maybe this light coming in on the field, whatever, you know. But right back here, this green is dark. It's darker, so when I spray the darker green, which I'm going to do right now too, I don't want to go up into the sky again. So let me get the shield. Right on the photo. And over here. And then, like I said, if the overspray goes up into the sky, you just go back with the darker colors they cover everything. Okay, so there's a distant field. This is real dark. It almost looks like a mountain, but it's distance. It's just so dark from the clouds and the contrast that real quick could look like a mountain. There's no mountains out there though. I don't know what state this is in, but having said that, let's just go over this again with another pass. Yeah, I'm going to put my texture in on top of it. I'm not going to do the transparent type erasing kind of thing. Two different ways you can go at it. Oops, I got to go after that tip dry, right? I'm raising the air volume with the Mac valve so that I can get just more force on it because it's a big area. Because you paint back further when you're doing a sky or when you're getting in close for details like the cloud. You move the airbrush closer too, and air on, paint off. But leave the air on always when you're working. So I can't put the little picture up there right now. So here's a mark, probably gray from my fingerprints, and it's going to be pretty dark there. So I'm just going to show you how the opaque covers. That's going to be the darker paint, so I might as well use it. But I have to use these colors that I pre-mixed for, like, I got to use discretion. Say I don't want to spray that 100% there. I want to spray it 60, so that I can make multiple values from the different two colors that I mixed. Just painting what I see. It's just like as if you didn't pre-mix it. You just kind of mix it on the run. The color has when you're mixing colors like this and you don't know color theory, you're going to have trouble. A lot of if I used like right out of the bottle green, this would look like a cartoon down here, and then that would look realistic. So you have to manage, as Drew teaches, you have to make sure the whole painting, you pay attention to every square inch. And at least in general, if you're not super detailed, then you got to at least make sure you pay attention to the values and stuff. So this is like a ditch here, and I think it cuts right through here. This is another green. This is the darker green, really dark. Goes on an angle, right? Is that an angle there? Yeah, it's an angle. So it's like goes uphill and then downhill like this. But watch how dark this gets when you really spray it in. It's very dark. Back here on that so-called what looks like a mountain, I can just take this shield. I should be using the paper because I'm going on top of the photograph here. And but I got two photos, so I'm good. Okay. The guys at Staples, they told me when I was getting copies on the copy machine, just for, it was so dark, black and whites were just not working. He said, get a color printout and do yourself a favor. Save yourself the aggravation. You'll see more detail. And he was right. Even if you just get one. Okay, so we've got way far away. Now that that with the lighter green in between, it's going to start looking like maybe a mountain, but it's not. It's just flat land, but that real dark cloud's making it really. The darker this gets, the more mood it's going to be of what you see here, So let's see the first. Okay, so this is going to come from the corner, and it cuts right through where these bend. So I'm just going to come through here, start right at this point, right there, and I'm just going to, from a little bit of a distance, give myself a little mark of green, and then above it, somewhere in here, it gets really dark, but it's thinner on this side, and the shadow just grows out in this area. It gets fatter right there. Just very fat and kind of connects over here a little bit. But I'm treating it, now I didn't spray it as dark as that. And that might even get a little darker if I keep going. Okay, let's just dust this in on top of that color. Play with some colors here. These shapes get smaller further out. Like there's some kind of a fence here. And this is like a feather stroke where you just make it smaller. Trails out because of perspective. Shapes get smaller, but you don't necessarily have a road or anything like that going on. Okay, so this is kind of going to go hopping over things. The field is not totally smooth. It's got, I guess, little highs and lows inside the field. And then it goes out, get closer with the airbrush, and go right out to there. And then you can get a little fatter. pull away. Get darker just by spraying over it. So now we've got some perspective going on. If that tornado was closer to us, we'd be seeing it big, obviously. All right, so down here, we got a little. Whoops. Okay, there's a good example of too much. I remember I turned the volume up, the air, so I forgot to turn it down. And when you get a mess like that, you don't have to worry about it because the color will cover itself. So that's kind of a good example of how to use opaques. If that was transparent paint, I'd be in trouble. But having said that, this so-called darkness that goes through here, now I don't have enough volume, is going to be right in this area. So it's not going to fix the whole area. The other color will. Let's see what's going on here. That's that. And then down here, it's dark. It gets real dark over here. Kind of connects almost. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a tint. There's that gray finger mark over there. Dark covers it. And that is a dark area too. 100% is right about there. Lighter areas are where I kind of messed up there. And don't use black. I mean, I might have to spray a little or put a little more black in the color, but don't use black when you can make your picture have, what's the word, color instead of black. A lot of times in my early days, I'd be using black for shadowing, say, and it's like, well, it's green, the object is green, the grass is green, the tree shadow is a darker green, right? It's not going to be the same. So now you can just kind of tie that together a little better. And those littler shapes out here will start to make sense because they're going to be smaller. There's a feather stroke. It's like a dagger stroke. If you go fast enough, you can do daggers on both ends, which are cool. Especially when you have more air pressure and you're working like on a t-shirt. Double. They come out really, really cool. But I've got to put more pressure up to show you that. Okay, so here we go. Double dagger stroke. This is a feather stroke. Soft, tapers. It's feather. Dagger would be, you get into this. Get in real close and you can get some really fine lines. But the soft stroke is what you want to. And if you go fast enough, you can go just get it on both sides. But if you're trying to be accurate and you're trying to work a small one in, you got to get closer and you got to learn to spray soft close up. And that was probably out of the picture. No, my icon is blocking it. That's what I would do. Dan the top half up, and then take the bottom half and tape it over. Yeah. I thought he had the whole photo. Oh, I do have a whole photo right here, and then I have the same photo I cut in half for different reasons. And some of the reasons I'm not going to teach because they're stuff I learned, and I just I'm not going to teach every little thing I've learned because it's much more involved, and it's it's something I learned at Drew's, and I decided not to give all what I learned out because this is a free video, right? Okay, so we got some things going on. It's and then you can step away from your picture, and like I said, I'm not even bothering spraying full strength. I see it sweeping in this way now. Just knocking the brightness back. I'm not going to go by this picture. It's a little too late. I'm going to go by this one. And if you don't like something, then you can, there's a number of things you can do. On Clayboard, you can actually take Windex. I wouldn't do that on this thing. And you can literally just wipe off your picture, wipe it right off. And I guess you can do that on synthetic paper too. But so there's this other color green that kind of like is lighter. But remember that mark from my finger? Opaque will cover that up nicely for the most part, right? Okay, so I'm going to keep it very, I'm going to stare at this later and I'm going to go, wait, I don't like the color I mixed or whatever. But at least we now have something down here. And if you want to start putting in a fence post like later, I think there'll be right around here, there'll be one. But I have the picture on the back, so let's use that as an example. Well, it's all taped down. It flips over and you just put the graphite paper behind it. And from there, you can put exactly from this line out, which is drawn on there, you can put exactly each post in where they live just by putting a mark, and then you can go after it. I have colors I forgot to spray in here, so it would be more of, I guess they're flowers or weeds, I don't know, but they come in right here. So where would that be? Right in this area, I think. So I could try to lighten this. Maybe even get it back down to the white of the board. There'll be no color shift on the white of the board. A little bit of color here probably won't hurt because it is going to be a yellowish color. So I'm just going to take that out, clean my eraser on a piece of paper, because after a while the paint will not allow you to erase anymore. It's on the eraser, right? So right here there's some kind of nice yellowy, golden, weedy kind of things, you know. Almost think it almost feels like there's a road there, but I don't know because of the perspective. I got the picture from Unsplash. There's a free image, and I have to go back on and type in the name of the photographer. They say at least, you know, give them a shout out on a social media or buy them a cup of coffee. But then if you want to be a member and have like Getty Images or InStock, iStock, or whatever it's called, and get like so many photos, you're going to get better photos all the time. Then you have to turn around and pay a monthly fee. Could be as cheap as $8 a month for maybe Unsplash to, I forget, because iStock was more, a lot more. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put some darkness off to the right over here. Okay, so this whole background, I'm aiming the airbrush down and just put that night, let some texture show through, you know, that kind of stuff. And just make this dark back here, real dark. I mean, I'm even going into the sky a little. I don't care at this point because I'm going to bring that dark, the real dark in to the scene. You could feel like the shadows of the clouds on the field, you know, that kind of thing. And not everything, like if this is a dagger stroke, then you might want to go to a real nice kind of dagger stroke from a feather stroke. There's a little one here. Out here, it's more defined. Everything gets smaller. It's like when you're painting the water far away too. You know, you got everything gets smaller and smaller. Just dust over that a little and get that yellow. So the yellow consists of, to get into a true wheat color, okay, like that, it's yellowish, but I use yellow, violet, white, orange, a little tiny bit of orange, yellow, wait, violet, yellow, orange, and I wrote the word grass just to tell me it goes down by the grass. And it basically is like a wheat color. The violet is just like a couple of toothpicks, you know, or a small paintbrush into a bigger amount of yellow. Otherwise, it will go brown on you real quick or something. So the opposites, like red and green, they don't wipe each other out so quickly. If you put a little bit of green in a lot of red and you were trying to get a browner red and a grayer red, you would put a little bit of green in it, depending on the green too. You got blue greens, you got, you know, more true blue like cobalt and that kind of stuff. But you got to have a basic color theory down. So you need to know the opposites of at least red, yellow, you know, red, yellow, and blue. I'm like having a brain fart. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of dust this color, and there might be a little color shift here going on. Yep, it is. Okay. So that is a color shift because it's going on top of the dark color. But if I come in with a brush, like over here, there might be a little bit more where you could do a little brush work. It's solid. It won't shift on you like that. So you can just kind of pull that in, and it's going to be broken up with, like, it's because it's grass or whatever, weeds. It might even reappear here, that kind of stuff. So this is a color shift. It's going blue because I'm spraying that yellow, which is light, on top of the color, and that's not a good thing. See, the true color is more like that. But in order for me to fix that, you want to get rid of that blue by making sure you got a little orange in your white so that you can kill the blue. Orange is the opposite of blue. Each color, right, takes care of graying out the other color. The basic color theory that you would get anywhere, you know, from a book online or just, just online. You could read about it. You could, you know, do all that kind of stuff. You got to have color theory. And if you don't, then your paintings are going to be weaker. Okay. I hate the overspray on the white paper, but it's there. All right. So now at this point, like for example, those yellow daisies or dandelions, whatever they are, that'll all be brushed. That can be brush work very, very carefully. You know, this is not the color of, say, the daisies, but they might be somewhere in this area. I'll just put like one or two. Just break them up a little bit. And they're more yellow though. They're maybe that color with more yellow in it, but not yellow out of the bottle. No, 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 no. All right, so let's go back up to the top. There are little buildings out there, and the little buildings can be, I see a yellow building. Let me try something here. It looks like it's yellow. It's right about here. It's very tiny. So here's the tornado. I don't have the trace down, so I'm going to just kind of put the building in, just mark it a little bit. You could tape it off and make it a totally perfect little, and it's no bigger than that. That's a big building far away. And then the dark will go around it and it will, you can straighten all that out. The other building is a white top roof. So, and this will get knocked back with the airbrush color wise. Yep, right now. I'll just square off this end. If you want it exactly where it's supposed to be, you do the thing. I might find out that that's too fat. And then you could come in, take your green, and work it back to a tinier view. It must be very, very thin. So that knocks it back. It's so far away, right? And that's, you know, and this is atmospheric too. Like when you see mountains, that's perspective. When you see a green mountain and then you're out in the rolling mountains or you're in New York or Pennsylvania and you're far away, you can see the mountains start turning bluish, kind of bluish green and then almost blue, like the Smoky Mountains, right? That's called atmospheric perspective, where the atmosphere colors change, you know, that kind of stuff. It's fun to learn all that stuff. Okay, so let me start focusing on, I think I got that color mix. I got to flush out the airbrush. I have my little cleaning station on the side, which is just that Wada. You put the airbrush in there and you get for this is for beginners. Everybody else usually knows this. This keeps the air kind of clean. Has a filter here. You just spray it out, and then you don't have all that, you know, overspray building up, and then you're breathing it in, right? I have a window that I could open in this room and a fan in it, and the fan's far enough away from me behind my desk here that I don't have to really worry about the fan getting covered with paint. But you could put a filter on the fan. That's a cheap way. You know, you could put really nice HEPA filters, and you can use the bungee cords to just strap it on, and then you've got a really nice filtration that's inexpensive, right? I think Drew might have talked about it or showed it, but I've seen it also with other people, and I've done it too. But I also had a ventilation desk. Yeah, that yellow out there is really probably like a mustard color that's grayed down. When I say gray, meaning color, I'm literally meaning the graying of the color dulling out and looking more realistic. All these colors are more realistic because their opposites are in them, or they're being mixed, pre-mixed. You can do it with transparents too. You can mix without putting the white in it, but you gotta be careful for not overshooting. That means basically spraying, just spraying too much, too fast, or 1 second too long on the trigger, and you're gonna go overboard. You can't do it with the OPEX. If that's 100%, you can never get that to be any darker. So transparent, though, that green, if I mixed it without white in it, and I kept spraying, I could get that look, but if I shot over it, I could go almost black, like the sky, you know, like dark, like in here, in color, but that's what the difference is. Okay, so let's see. So now I'm looking at it from a distance, and at some point, like for my students or something in the class, they would be like, that's good. It's done. I don't want to do anything else on it. I'll paint in the fence post. I don't want to do anything else on it. And that's fine if that's where they want to leave it, you know. But if you're really looking at the photograph more, even in this color one and this one, look at the darkness at the base. So all this darkness here starts to reappear, but not as dark. So I have to kind of cut through and bring it in here in all the darks. So I got to just determine what color I want to use right now. Let's see. I wrote tornado gray, okay, because a tornado is a greenish gray, And I probably don't have enough green in there, but I'm seeing that now. So what I could do, oh no, I put this on the wrong, I put that on the wrong color, look. Okay, all right, this color though, I need this color. So I'm gonna just take it. Let's see. Yeah, I just grabbed the wrong lid. So I don't know how dark this is. This might be too light. But you can tint things with this. You can start to spray down here. Let's see, that might be a little too light. So let me go up into the cloud, get the volume down. It's a green. Because it is pretty, this has to be separated, this cloud from that cloud, but they're green and they're out of focus too. So the only way I'm going to show that up is by following that line right there. It goes all the way up into that area. See, another color shift, but that's going to have black over it. Okay, and then it reappears kind of like in here. It might kind of darks and lights throughout. Paint the darks around that. I'm going to get the darker green out, air dry it, spray it, because opaques can look like they're not spraying right, and then all of a sudden you get the right color out there. And I mean, you air dry it, and yeah, you'll be good. So what I'm going to do with this green, I'm going to put white in it. I'm going to lighten that cloud, unless I have the color already mixed from before. Let's see. Because right now you start losing it right there. So I need to have a darker green around that. Some of the colors dried, were almost used up. So let's see, what do I want to use? Distant grass, cobalt blue. That's the lightest one. All right, there's going to probably be a color shift here, but the top has a light source coming out of it. It's actually, I'm going to have to go into a correction color here, because that is not, it's more of a whitish color there. All right, so let's see. I'm going to bring the dark in around the tornado at the base to help, looking at the photograph, to help its overall, you do see the tornado at the base, but not that much. And it's your painting. Like if you want to show more of the tornado, you use a lighter gray or whatever. So let's see, I want probably the darkest. I have labels on these colors. That's the grass. This is the sky. So the sky color can be brought back down into the painting down here, but don't spray it as dark. I gotta flush out the airbrush more. Don't spray it as dark. Just spray it 50%. Just keep looking at the picture. Okay, so here we go with the dark. Just trying to capture a little bit of 20, where is it? I put it away. 4021 reducer. Paints really last long with that, and they flow better. And I guess the tip dry is kept down. I don't know. I think it does. So it's not, that's not even black. I did start to use a little India ink right there, but I was just messing with values. But then you get away from the color. So let's test it, and let's just kind of come back up here with this, the other half, right? Pretty thick. It's a pretty thick shield. All right, over here it's pretty dark, so I'll just bring that dark. Not as dark as that, so I'll just spray it lighter, and I'll bring it over, and I'll come in around here, right up to the tornado, spray onto the tornado a little bit, and then look at it, keep it kind of uniform, and then get darker over here, and it stays lighter in there, and then the same thing here, this side. That's what I'm trying to go for. And there is a little light coming off. I sprayed in first, so I got to just kind of preserve that a little bit. Okay, so it crashes into the tornado right there, but I'm spraying far away, and I see it going right to about here, and then go above that little light light source at the bottom, and then it gets real dark over here. And this still isn't black. It's got mixtures of things going on in it. That this crashes right into this one. That's a white cloud there. All right, so we'll now I'm just squinting my eyes. It's darker. So I'm gonna go in on this side, get a little lower there, right there, and just work to the edge a little bit and let it stay lighter in there. I'm just looking at the photograph, and then start working this darkness up into this cloud and give it a little shape, a little, kind of something down there that I got to build on. I got to make that look three-dimensional. Okay, so I'm going to go into the little photograph here and let you guys see that, and I'll try to spray on the side. Get this out of the way for a minute. Yeah, just kind of see this photograph washed out the whole cloud formation. This photograph is what I'm going to go for. That one. You can see all the heavenlies, but this one just, but this at least shows you kind of where I'm going. Okay. I do like it to be the right colors, but I was at two different stores. All right, so this darkness kind of travels, it breaks up right in here. It's kind of like that, and it rolls, let's see, over this way. Cloud formations. All right, so little by little. As far as these little guys breaking away, let's try to do one. The breakaway, that would be where you're spraying. You have your air on, and you have about, I'm working with around 20, I guess. I think my compressor is probably on 25, 30, but I turned it down so the volume's coming out lower. So the top of the tornado is going like this, not a little more volume, or a little more 40, 21, or it could be tip dry. Let's just say that's the tornado. And you can see the green because I'm not spraying it 100%, but if you really spray it, so what I'm saying is the dark area is a color, even though it looks like it's black. And the more you spray it, it'll come to what it really looks like. And you would think, oh, I'm going to use black. But if you put black on that, you'd be like, no, it's not black. But anyway, let's say that's the tornado right there, right? So these breakaway clouds, kind of like, let's just put a little color here. Yeah, I definitely need, it's bubbling in the cup. So that means I've got either got tip dry blocking it. That's what's happening. It's backwashing into the thing. The tip dry is doing it right now. But I'm going to put a little more reducer in that color. And I'm just putting water in the airbrush on the side. Imagine somebody just seeing this on the video and that's all they saw. And they'd be like, oh man, what is that? Okay, so I'm putting the 40, let's leave a little bit of the picture shot. 40, 21 into my mixture so it flows a little better. Stir it around a little bit, and I'm just trying to demonstrate a cloud that breaks away. So let's do it this way, like that. It's not the right colors or anything, but at least you can kind of see. So I see there'll be solidness right here. I'm getting a little closer. It's not a hard edge, so you want to get that shape a little fuzzy. But then there's clouds that are raining down, and they literally are going like off of that cloud. This one kind of has a weird shape like that. And they're just breaking away. And maybe you leave a little opening here, and you start working that one. And then you just tint it, but then you go back to the breakaway clouds, and you just get in with the micron. You don't want this. You don't want a hard edge like that, because it's not in the picture. You want the edge to be fuzzy, but close up fuzzy. So you have to just practice that on pieces of paper and stuff so that you literally can do the control that you need to do. A little fuzzy, pay attention to your edges. If you had an edge that was a stencil, let's just say the tornado, and the tornado is on an angle a little bit, hold the stencil off the surface and capture that shape. It's still kind of fuzzy, but it's not this kind of stencil where you get that real, it's not that. It's a matter of fact, I probably should have held it off a little higher. Get your fingers under it, lift it a little bit, and then deflect the paint. It will go there. Look at it, get a little closer if it's not right, and you'll capture the right edges that you need. It gets dark in here, and then this piece goes like this. It's like better to show you on a piece of paper like this. I see it going like that, breaks away. I see it get real dark right here, and then it starts to show an opening right there, a little white. So then you just leave it, and it starts to look like things are breaking away. A giant version would be something like this. Soft. It's just where the clouds, you see it on the stormy days. You can see that happening in the sky. Looks like a tornado's coming right in my New Jersey area, right? Bigger versions help you kind of, and then it will get solid up here, like these little breakaway clouds, and then you can tint over them a little, knock it back, and you'll start to see all those weird shapes. And then if you get into really tight areas, like this shape, looks like it goes like this. Zoom in on it a little bit, and I'll just do it here. And it starts going this way. And it actually is a little shape that goes like this. And then fill it in. And then it has breakaway clouds, like little, oops, tip dry. I should know better. You can also pull the needle back through like that. Take your fingernail and go all the way around if you could. And then just go back into the shapes you already started and make some things darker. And then this meets up with darkness right there, but it's hanging down. And then the overall tint would be that. So now you can see those shapes, and they would get darker. You go further away, you know, that kind of thing going on. Now I'm making my own up because I got bigger there with that one. So that's kind of like those raining down clouds. This one here, you can see them raining down. They're not even raining down. They're actually streaks right here. So you would just put them in like feather strokes, like that, like that, like that, and then you would bury it into the sky and go over it again. And it just looks like things are going on. Whoops, too much. So it starts getting darker down here again. Remember, it cuts through the tornado, and etc. and so on. So that's what I have to capture in the real painting. I hope that helped a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get back up in here, and I'm going to try to find a little bit of darker clouds right in here. And make darks within darks, like even though this is dark, this area here looks like it's darker. I see the green in there too, so I might have grabbed the wrong dark, but it's working, and there is a green mood in this painting, so I'm fine with it. Now these are kind of like just little breakaways going like that, just raining down. It's raining down. I hope you can see that. Oh, I had it zoomed in. I'm sorry. I just did this little area here. You could use the pump stroke far away, and you get kind of aim. Kind of green tint that's in that color. It's kind of nice looking there. Okay, so it just keeps going on and on. It's darker here. The top of the tornado. Just freehanding it. Get in a little closer as you come into an area like that. A lot of different, versions. There's a little green tint there because it's in the black. Might as well do it. Whoops. Stop, look at it, air dry it so that wet, dark area goes away. Oh, what do we got going over here on the other side? Far away. You get these, you can still make shapes here, but you got to get like you don't want an edge. You want a blurry kind of thing going on like that. Darks and lights of the same color. This is lighter. Just tint over a little bit. Bring it in on top of that white cloud. And let's see if I can use this color to sculpt a little bit. A little too dark, but I can lighten that. But at least it's starting to show up. And again, it's your painting, so if you want to, make your own cloud, not be so like fanatical about a photograph, that's where you freehand. Just your brain comes in doing its thing. All right, so this is pretty dark here, but it does come over to this side of the tornado. Right here, it goes right through, connects, but I'm real far away, and I'm just going to pull up here and put that kind of raining thing in. That's the brush on the drawer. Yeah. There's more. There's more of them. One right there, and then it kind of meets in a darkness right there. So it's starting to have some sculpture to it, but it's not by no means there yet. Some of it is kind of a harder edge. Still soft, but once you build behind it like this, then it becomes more solid. That's what's going on there. It's very dark. And this one kind of cuts through here like this, a little bit further away, and just different shapes that are going on. This I want to fix. I got this shooting out too far. Um, got a little bit away from it. It's got a neat thing going on right here. That might be this one, right? Yeah. So it's kind of raining down right here. It's more of a line getting in real close with the micron. And then it's dark here. It's kind of catching up with itself. So it's just back and forth and all that kind of good stuff. Right here. That kind of has a soft edge to it against that. But then this darkness from far away could kind of come back at it. Oops, too fast. Got to go after that. That's not supposed to be, that's supposed to be a feather stroke, but that's what happened. So just kind of attach that a little bit more. All right, stop and look at it. A little bit further out. Hold on, guys. I gotta put the airbrush down. I'll bring this in and around a little more. There we go. Okay, so we're starting to see interesting looking. I hope you guys are seeing it. I'm happy with what I'm seeing. You got that, and then you got that reflection. Let's just do something like this. Nope, go this way. Nope, tornado's kind of like right in the middle, so can only do. Yeah, I'll go out further with the zoom, so you can kind of get a feel. Whoops, kind of get a feel for what's going on. Okay, I could definitely come in here darker. I could probably get away with some of the moody sky color right over the green, right there, especially back here where it's meeting. Freehanded in, just kind of put that in there because it's there. And then this green gets dark right here. So just using the other, it's a green black, but it's real far away, so it's in the picture. It looks like a mountain, like I said earlier, but it's not. And then under the buildings, there's going to be a real, you can almost do like a line. I'll paint the buildings in with a brush. Capturing that. Kind of hopping around, going over some bumps. just far away, just kind of tying things together a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy, too dark. There's a mood here that's going on right here. This one looks like it's coming in, oops, on an angle. Oops, that's a little too not good. I'm just going to kind of bury that. It's pretty dark on the edge, so you can just kind of tie that in that way. All right. I don't want to get too dark. I'm starting to, and there's going to be ways to fix that later, but I'll stare at this and get, the overall, just kind of using my brain here. I want this to be a little smaller. I want this to be a little darker in here. I am going to put a little more of that reducer in. I remember Terry Hill doing a demo. You could still see it probably. I actually have a CD of it. Terry Hill, the famous t-shirt artist, teacher slash, he stayed with the t-shirts a lot, but he passed away in 2020, I think. Missed him. He was a great teacher, great artist, and a great person. He was a really nice person to know. He was really humble with all that talent, no real ego. He just enjoyed, like, one time he was saying that he was in I probably told this before, he was in some kind of Arizona, I think it was the Airbrush getaway, and it was somewhere out, Scottsdale, and he was just saying the story that he was in whatchamacallit there, one of your Home Depots or something like that. And he was so amazed that a couple people came up and recognized him, and he was blown away. It was like, wow, what an honor to be recognized. Well, of course, you got videos out, and you are, and probably the students from the area might have been in the store and saw him, but he was blown away, like, for that kind of attention. Like, he just was a humble guy. But anyway, he would teach with the Wicked paint. This is now, he's older, he's been doing this for years. And he would teach with the Wicked paint reduction using, at that time, it wasn't the 4021 or anything. But he would reduce the Wicked paint. And it was amazing because the reduction was like, you could do 30% paint, and the rest, 70% of the reducer. And he took the black and he made it so like light gray that the paint was made to not, just not give up its ghost. It just stayed with it. And yeah, he was, that video was really cool, showing how to do that. Just feather strokes, the raining down. I'll zoom in on that a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pull this into about there so you guys can see it. Maybe move that over a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to get out of the chair and I'm going to step back. You got to do this all the time. You should squint your eyes. You should go right around there. Squint your eyes kind of thing. Step back, take a break. Look at your work from a distance, 5-7 feet away. That's what I'm doing right now. Seeing the whole picture, seeing my colors and things that I could pop out more, and other things that maybe colors, like in here I see, there's a lot more texture in here, and I got to figure out what I want to do for that. I got to figure out what I want to do, and it might not be, it might be like a section where you do a small area on a video possibly, and then you don't do the rest on the video because it would be boring. It's like if I do this section and showed a small section of how to get some of the detail, then I could say rinse and repeat, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's tedious. It would take a lot of time. It would take just a lot of time. I still got to make sure this is what I want. It's not dark enough there, but it's faking me out. I see almost a brown in that tornado. So the blackness goes to about there, and then it just goes more of a lighter gray down at the bottom. So that's what I'm seeing. I better be careful. That's not black in there. What am I doing? All right. So I guess, let's see, what time is it? I'm going to take, it's an hour and 25 minutes. I'm going to take a correction color, and I'm going to try to build up this cloud a little bit better. And it's not a blue cloud, so if I use just white out of the bottle, I'll get a blue cloud. If I can build it up with a correction color, even if it's in the orangey family, I can always turn around and tint it, and then it will be showing up, because I kind of lost some of this to last week. This isn't even done. It needs more darks and lights. Again, that's where you step back and look at it. You can almost break it down like this. You could say, well, I just want to look at, say, a small area of my painting. And you can just go like that and maybe like that and say, all right, how close is that coming to that? How am I doing in that area? And then you could just say, well, you go anywhere. You could go, wow, I see more lights in here. And that's right, they're there. And that has to be put in, the lighter grayish, kind of brownish gray almost. I'm thinking brown, but I'm not too sure. You can see the tornado and the distant buildings. Gosh, it looks like there's smokestacks or something back there. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. It's cool. All the little things that you could see. This is definitely a sharper edge here. So like when I spray later, I'm going to spray and have a sharper edge, just like I see in the picture. But not like Frisket, where it's, horribly, because you got to just study your edges. Get a magnifying glass and look at a photograph under magnification, and you'll start to see edges for what they are. My lamp that is right up above has a whole huge, probably about maybe 8-9 inch diameter. Curious to what it is. Hold on a minute. It's built in the light. You could take the plastic lid off, and it looks like it is almost 6.5-ish. So I'll take the lid off. I can't show you the actual lamp unless I take I'll show you it at the end of the video where I could take the phone out of the holder. But I wanted to show you the lid. And they want you, it says a warning, leave this lid on, because if you're working near a window and the sunlight comes through that magnifier, it could create a fire, right? So, see the caution right there. Fire hazard, never leave the lens in direct sunlight. And then they show you the simple picture there. And then the name of the light, I bought it when I was at Drew's class, was daylight. And you're going to get lighting that is pure. Oh, it shows every color. You can read better, meaning you can read writing in a book. I have one over my bed on a little stand. It's actually an OT light. It's not a daylight. They're still color correct lighting. And oh man, I can't be without it. That's why it's in the other room too, because I'll do artwork in that room, just sitting up with pillows behind me, resting my back and having like some kind of a clipboard or something, maybe drawing this drawing down in a nice, comfortable position. So I don't leave, I put tape on it. I don't leave even that snap-on plastic on that lens. I don't leave that on there. I mean, by itself, I guess I took them serious and I taped them on so that if I was at my studio, the students wouldn't take it off and just have the sunlight coming through. Okay, so there is that. Let's see it for, let's reverse this if this is a new piece back here. So we don't have all that overspray garbage. This is just cheap watercolor paper that I would never use for watercolor because it's not good paper. So I have a big pad of it. I forget where I got it. And I just can slide it like this. And yeah, so right now, that's, try to get the phone and the same level of the painting, kind of like that. And then take that up higher. There we go. I attached my, I used tape. The arm is flexible. But without a little stability, this would go like that all the time. That's why if you see when I hit it, it does that movement until I stop it there. Okay, so what was I going to work on? I was going to work a little bit on the cloud and then call it a day. Okay, so I'm going to put the lid back on this. Tornado, somewhere on there. Okay, so, yeah. So that would look neat. This is not nice. I don't like this little one. It's too washed out. You can't see the shape. But I just needed it so you could see something. Usually, I would have got the same picture over at Walgreens. Same colors would have came out. But their system was down. I might want to get one day the printers that have the, like, I think Shaq O'Neal there, he advertises it, the ones where you can fill the tank. And my son told me he has, and I was like, you do? And he goes, yeah. He goes, the ink lasts forever. He goes, because a lot of times, I have a nice printer, an Epson, but I stopped using it a long time ago because it was $70, $80 to get two blacks. One is called Photo Black and the regular black. And even when you're doing black and white printouts, it's taking the colors and using them up. And then you run out of this and that and the other thing, and it's a fortune. It's not worth it because I'm not a working artist right now. I'm not getting income or anything from it. So let me do the color. But anyway, I still wouldn't mind having access to not having to give my money to Walgreens and then Staples and riding all around. So, I need this photograph for YouTube. I'm going to show you a painting I'm going to try to do. The challenge in this one, this is another free image. If anybody can tell me what year this is, I would like to know. It's a Corvette, obviously. It's a Stingray. Somebody at Walgreens thought, or CVS, a young kid behind the counter, thought it might have been a 70, 71. I don't know. But I like it. I mean, there's a blue sky there. There's a little wall, a building, I guess, and the car's backed up, reflection. I might paint it. The hardest part's going to be the rubber and the tire and the lettering. And this is out of focus, so that's going to be easy. This is showing every little detail. That's fun to do. There's the pavement upside down, right? There's the pavement. There's the sky. What happens with a circular thing, it shows the sky, and then this is reflecting the ground. So that's where we get the famous chrome letters back in the day, right? Okay, so if anybody knows what that might be and how I can find out what year it is, just so when I paint it, I can say, hey, this is a 71, whatever, But I'm thinking of painting this anyway. I always look for sharp-looking images like that. And in reality, just one more time with the Corvette. In reality, again, using that paper thing, the fender is pretty easy. It looks airbrush right in there. Maybe it had a little doctoring up or something, I don't know. Or just a good photographer, definitely strong reflections. So this really is not a hard, the red part of the car, I mean, look at that. That's a white, and this is easy. And that tire back there and the wall, or the wall would be more mechanical like work. That's easier. This is the hardest part right here. All this, getting it accurate. There's an artist on, I was going to write his name down today, but I didn't. Plus, it's a little tricky to say his name, but he's across the pond. Oh my gosh. He paints everything freehand. He can do that circle perfectly. No stencils. He paints the interior of cars, meaning on a fine art. He painted like a BMW. He painted the BMW, the logo, all freehand. His skills. I've personally never seen anybody with that kind of freehand control. Chris Dunlap, he could probably do all that too. I mean, he's a pinstriper, but this guy's doing the fine arts. Chris is doing a lot of the looser stuff now on canvas. This is fantastic. So check Chris Dunlap out, Pinstripe Chris, and the other guy I'm talking about. His last name starts with a D. I think it's D. I'm not sure. I can't. I got to find it. But anyway, I went to his YouTube thing. I went to his photos. I was Instagram, and I was like floored because he had little videos on the Instagram of showing. I said, no way. There's no way he did that without any stencils. And then you see him just like a machine. He has something on my story right now, and it's a kind of a cartoonish girl with giant round glasses on, and he does it black and white, and then he tints it and he makes it all super colorful, and part of her face is blue and part of her face is flashing. It's really cool. And like I said, I don't know his name. I'm not sure, but oh my gosh, I'm a very humbled, and I've always been humbled by other artists. It's like I'm just me trying to have fun, and I would do this, anyway, But some people are like gifted beyond words, and I do have a little bit of a problem with I'm tremoring hands. That's just my system is just lousy that way. But I get by, I have fun. But when I watched him, oh my gosh, he did the interior, he did the steering wheel, the dashboard, he did the numbers on the speedometer, the tachometer. So anyway, I'll try to get you his name, and you might already know who I'm talking about. But so let me just do a little bit of the white, okay? Try to bring that up. I'm gonna get a new cup. I got to get online and get some cups. I got no more restaurant supply houses around. None that I can find. My son's store in Brick, the one he used to have, he went up to New York. His art studio was right next to a Shore restaurant supply, but they closed up, and now it's some kind of a restaurant, and I think it's a brewery, believe it or not, right here in Brick, New Jersey. Well, I'm in Tom's River. Actually, I'm in Berkeley Township, but yeah, all these restaurant supply houses I go in, all I would buy is solo cups and lids. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of orange in that. So this white, if I spray that white on there, you're going to get a blue cloud, because white over color is going to do that. Yeah, even Stephen Driscoll would use he would call it a blonde. He would make a blonde color, which is going to counterattack the blue shift. So he would paint a portrait on a t-shirt, and there's another great artist we lost, and he would paint like the highlights on the nose or whatever. And he said it was like a blonde color. So the flesh tone was one thing, but this super light color, it looked like white, but it had the blondish orangey kind of thing going on. And it's just amazing because it doesn't ruin the picture. So let me get my orange. I'm taking it and I'm putting it out on a palette. I'm not going to put a drop of orange into the white, because then I'd have too much orange. So I'm taking it like that on a paintbrush, and I'll just kind of stir it in. I might have went too far with that, but I'm going to try it. Because it doesn't always look orange when you're spraying it. It depends. Oh, I got color in there still? Yep. Now I got liquid in there, just flushing it. Okay. So if I put definitely too much in there, then I'll just pour out some of that, put the white in. Probably going to get pancakes in the sky here. All right, so that cloud comes up right here. Well, see, it's not shifting to blue, but it's not the color I want at all. So that, oh, that doesn't go up there, it goes up here. Getting a little close. No blue shift, going right over dark colors. But I'll tint it with the green. I kind of did this probably the last week a little bit, but you lose sections, you know. This is definitely too bright. Up there, got a little bit of a cool thing going on with yellow in the sky. And I just see this cloud kind of coming down here like that. See, no blue shift. That might be going a little blue on me, but like I said, I'm going to tint it. So where am I? One rise, that would be flat. And then, okay, this would be kind of got lost here a little bit. It's right here. Going a little hard with the two, and this kind of just attaches here. And then the other dark, I can kind of resculpt it. So I'm just going to kind of spray that in and kill the picture right there. Right in here a little bit more. A little bit here. Oh, I still have the volume up too much from demonstrating something before. So definitely went too light, but wow, the sun's coming out, huh? Over here, it's starting to show again. Come on, Bill, you know the tip dry. It's just a little speckle right there that I can just kind of incorporate into it. Let's see if I can fix this. No, I better be careful there. I want to knock that back. I can also make this grayer by going like this. That kind of thing. Show this up against this dark cloud over here. Just real far away, creating a gray, a lighter gray tone. But I don't want lines, I want soft. There's that little lighter burst at the bottom, which I'll fix up with going back and forth with the other. So I'm looking at the wrong picture. Looking at this. It kind of goes this way. Little roly-polies in here, those far away tints, lights and dark areas. And then I'll tint it. Knock back my dark area that I got carried away with right in there. Got too carried away. Okay. A little glow by the side of the tornado. Aim the airbrush out. Just a little glow right there. Subtle, little subtle things. And even here, remember that one I got a little too funky on. Take that out and just spray my dark back over it. Lighten this up a little more. Try to shape this out a little more. I'm sorry if I'm blocking. Try to come in from the side. So where are we? Right here. Okay, so this is the big one. It's peeking out. This one goes that way, and then this rises right here a little bit. And then this rises. I'm kind of making my own cloud up here, I guess. Just let that be like that for now. And then just maybe lighten this area a little bit and tie this lightness in here a little. And then tint it. Knock it back into the picture with, and that is this color, believe it or not. Looks like white, right? So if I had done white, this would be a blue cloud. And that would ruin the thing, the scheme. So I'll take this color and put some reducer in it. And I might end up make it darker by putting a little bit more red in it because it's green. So right now I'm going to tint it with this color. I got the reducer in, and I'm going to just knock the whole cloud back in to this picture with tint. Just kind of like that. Get that green going on there. It's still looking too late. Maybe that white was still in there. Yeah, it's still kind of light. So let me get the red into this color. So I'm going to take some red. That green will get darker, not by adding black to it necessarily. I'm going to do some red and deepen it so it will be a contrasting, same color, different value, I guess we could say. So I'm going to put the red out on a palette, or right now a piece of paper on the sideline, just a drop. And then I'm going to just take that red on the tip and stir it in to my color till I see something happen. I could put black into it too. This is going to steer away the green actually, so I don't want to do too much of that. So I'm going to take violet. I'm going to take violet and see what happens. Actually, I'll take red violet. Red is the opposite of green. And then I just do a little bit and see what happens. It's not going to deepen it really enough. Made it more vibrant. Nice. Let me get the black. I just need it to be a little darker. A little bit. So I'm dipping the paintbrush into the black, but I got to be real careful because it's just a value change. It's not even much. I don't know if I made it dark enough yet, but I'm going to try it. And that'll show off those clouds that are there waiting to be shown off. So let's go back above here. I'll put the little picture here. You're not going to see, yeah, you're really not going to see nothing because it's not there. It's very vague, but I'm looking to the side at the other color, the other thing. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm going to test the color. Yeah, it's darker, definitely darker. But first I'm going to come onto the cloud and tint it. Getting that cloud to not be white anymore. Okay, and it's separated from the other ones, but now you got to get in there and kind of sculpt it. See, it's a color, it's not, and it's pretty dark. It goes like this. Air dry it so you can see something happening. Tint this a little darker on the cloud, like shadows inside the cloud. Might not be dark enough, but let's just see. Let's just see. Nope, I could go darker to get all the little cauliflower shapes and stuff like that, but for now, I'm going to just fire it in here. Bring it back up. separates them, starts to. Tint that a little bit. Might have to go into the same version but transparent so that I can tint more and not mess that areas up. Yeah, this isn't dark enough. It's starting to show it up a little bit, but I'm going to put more black in it. Try it now. And sometimes it's just a little nudge. You know, not necessarily a lot. So a lot can ruin it. Like, it's better to go slower and add the black slowly. So I'm coming on an angle. Air dry it. Maybe do a little roly-poly here like this. It looks weird till you air dry it. And then come down here. I'm just kind of drawing it in. Air dry it. Showing it up a little more. But it's a color. It's not, you know, it's not like, it's a gray color. That's what it comes down to. And then it's in here. It's going to show little shapes and shadows. Now in there, I need more of the dark. Here it's really dark. I gotta put more black in it, or it won't show any contrast. So I'm gonna take more of the black on the paintbrush and go at it again. Maybe some violet. I don't know, just because I feel like it. And if I have to, I might have to go back into a little green, which I just dipped into a color that's already made. Keep it in the green family. Now I'm kind of just breaking away from the so-called perfect color you match to taking those colors that you already have and just darkening them, lightening them without testing them or getting fanatical. Okay, here we go. Now we should see something. There we go. Go in here again. A little shade right here. And get in close right there. Giving it some shapes. So I'll tweak everything, you know, my own time here as far as that goes. But in the meantime, knock that white back a little bit with the darker highlight. So it's still light, but it's not as. Pump stroke, break up these clouds a little more. So now I'm shaping the hang down clouds with the other color. But it's not, it's needs the tint on it. Remember, I wanted to get rid of this a little bit. I'm going to come up here. I have to paint the green back in there, but it was just too fat of a thing coming off the side of this tornado. That's closer, a little more light here. Oh, I gotta bring the gray back in there. Okay, so, and then there's kind of a ring of glow right here. Just a far away glow. Okay. Back and forth. Like I said, to tint it, I'm going to make that same color, the green, without the white in it. And it looks so dark in the color cup, you just can't even trust it, but it'll tint better because it's transparent. So let's just pop out that highlight a little more. These contrasts are so close to each other. They're just subtle, but there's just enough going on that you can start to see the sculptured clouds. And there's more down in here, a little bit of, I'm back to that orangey white. And where is it? Some of them up in here. It's just distance. So I'm going to keep it simple here. I just want to show dimension. I'll go back with the black where I start ruining areas. But anyway, that's kind of, what we're talking about here. Just a little bit of back and forth stuff. And when I make that tint, this will all just knock it back into the picture and it will work. And I'll definitely do better off camera with some of this because I have the whole thing in front of me. It's hard to do for me. This cloud kind of just shapes like that, and I'll tint that. But more harder edges. I don't want it to look fantasy looking and stay that way because it's too bright. It's just, I need it to start with. And I'll check the contrast on this. I think this baby can go like this a little more. And come this way a little bit. And that's all I'll do for now. It's going to get like a fantasy looking thing. I have to make the transparent color and go from there. So, like I said, what I might do is like a short, not a live stream, but I might do a short doing sections and put them on the uploads or something so you won't be bored, and then you could go, oh, well, that's how he continued with the grass, or because I got to figure it out. I got to stare at this. I got to make this color in a transparent because I don't think I have anything ready. Let me just see. I could take a green that I have here. I'm just going to try it. It's an opaque color, but if I treat it like 10%, 20% far away, I might get a little more contrast without, going through too much the lazy artist syndrome. Okay, so let's get back in here, tint the whole cloud. Whoops. Okay, that worked there, but got a little too much because it's a strong green. And get back in here, just knock this back from far away, just get it into the green world. and then this up here. It's got that tornado kind of sky, you know, where it's greenish. So I'll play around with it and I'll work it more, but you could kind of see where it's going. A three-dimensional kind of thing going here, a little green into that black, and I'll end it with going into, this cuts up in here like that. Now you're seeing the green because it's not really the right green, but I'm going to take the black one to end it, just to tornado gray. I don't want that. I want the darkest sky color. Where is it? I had it there. It tipped over maybe. Give me a second. I guess I could use the tornado color. It's kind of lighter, but blowing out the color on a piece of paper down below in the drawer. And I'm going to just do a little, and I will show you that light, you know, that take the phone out of its holder. And okay, so here we go. I'm just going to kind of bring some of that stormy dark over that, knock that green back in. I don't want to get too dark. Or I shouldn't say I don't want to get too dark. That's not the right. I don't want to get too black. I want to keep it in the green world. Now I want to soften that where that green kind of came in. And then, yeah, something like that. Remember, I kind of messed up here a little. It's very dark up here at the top of the tornado. Goes just like that. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm getting somewhere. Do a little bit more raining down. I can't stop. I'm going to put the air volume up because I want to try to make these happen like I would treat a t-shirt. Some people can work with higher pressure, but you got to be careful. It'll be too dark. Air dry a little bit. Maybe I can make those clouds show up a little more, those lighter green ones. There they are. A little bit. Okay. I was going to stop after I go through the tornado one time. Just sort of pass over far away. There we go. It goes up a little higher. One more. There. Okay. I'll tweak everything and try that. Probably, like I said, I'll do sections and stuff maybe. But in the meantime, yeah, these shadows are going to be higher pressure, right? And I'm just going to kind of darken them right here. Gives it more dimension, more, you know, and that thing goes out there like that. And this is darker, a little more of the dark color over it. Like I said, it does start to look like a mountain, but it's the dark greens. Last thing. Got a really messy stencil here, don't I? I can't use that no more. Yes, I can. bottom. That's the bottom. I can wipe it off. Maybe I'll get some cool texture on the surface from, just dabbing it or something. So I'm just wiping this off like that. Feels like a photograph on the back. There. Okay. Now I can just kind of, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to just cut right here with a little more darkness. There we go. Distance. And this can have a little bit of a, almost like it's got a stencil going on right here. And this goes this way. Sorry about my hands bopping a little bit. Like that. It's out of focus, so I'll just kind of run over it close. There we go. That's the distance. Bottom of the tornado is gray. Top of the tornado is what it is. And it just kind of does that. That's it. Stop before I get into trouble. I can't stop. I'm going to stop. Okay, put the airbrush down. All right. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's not finished, but it's going in the right direction. So here's the photograph. Let's back out and look at both of them. I hope I can show you more of that. Okay. The arm of the thing is shown, so I don't like that. Okay, so we'll just go like this. Show as much as we can. There's that section. There's that section. Tornado. I still see browns in there. Just in there. But anyway, so thanks for hanging out with me. Again, for anybody that didn't see, so there's the greenery. I got to get the texture into it. But colors are pretty good. But I just want to show and tell one more time the rose painting that I did for my wife. It's pretty much finished now. You know how artists are. Got to go back and do it. We'll have some satin clear on it, and then that would be the actual photograph. And we'll pull that back. So that's a photo I took, and then I took this photo, and then this one's too saturated, but I started to use this. This wasn't the original photograph. It was less, but I stole a little bit of the saturation to just punch it out a little more. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll leave with the tornado in the view, and I will show you that lamp, all right? Anybody that's saying, hey, you forgot to show me your lamp. I've showed it before, but to get different new people on and stuff, I want you to all get, the right stuff. So let's just see if I can do that. Oh yeah, I gotta unplug it. Okay, so it's daylight. I showed that before. There's the magnifier. There's the painting. Let's magnify it. Okay. So, but this thing is a wonderful, and it's got a really nice kind of design that's rather designed with quality. Going the wrong way, sorry. So it's not like springs where it would kill your hand. It kind of goes where you put it. There's that light, wonderful daylight. The closer you put it to the object, And then, like I said, I could work with the magnifier, and I could really help myself see either this, right, or the real photo to help me distinguish, what's going on and things I can't see. Look at all that. So, okay, guys, I will leave it at that. There's my painting. Thanks for hanging out. If you like the video, let me know. And if you don't let me know. No, I'm only kidding. And yeah, this lid has to go back on the thing, and I'll tape it down because this is by a window. Sunlight could come in. But anyway, thanks for hanging out. Take care. God bless you. And I went 2 hours and 10 minutes. Wow. Okay. Good night.